Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here, friends. I'm Maya, and today we're in this beautiful field, social distancing, completely safe. I hope you're safe and healthy wherever you're at too in the world right now. So I'm going to be talking about a different topic today. I'm talking about a mental health topic because mental health is very important right now. A lot of us are suffering, and a lot of us are discovering things about ourselves that we maybe didn't want to admit. So when we have someone to, be honest and share their story, it will impact us to share our own story, and therefore erasing the stigma with mental health so we all can feel like we are, acceptable just the way we are. And if you're interested in learning more about my spiritual journey, my spiritual practices, please do check out my Patreon. The link will be here. This week we're going to be doing a Yin Yoga class. So really restorative, falling into the feminine, really settling into our bodies. That should be up tomorrow. Hope to see you over on Patreon. This video is going to be about codependency. If you are interested in my journey with codependency and how I've been take the steps I've been taking to heal myself, or if you think you might be codependent and you want to know more about it, keep watching. First of all, what is a codependent person? How do you know if you're codependent? Well, it's pretty simple. A codependent person will lose themselves in another person's life. They will lose their identity in another person's identity. So they will not be themselves, not have their opinions, not do their hobbies, what makes them happy, not fulfill their interests, not even fulfill their needs. They'll rather be there for someone else and help someone else, just so they won't be left. So they have a huge fear of abandonment, but at the same time they are quick to not let people in because of the fear of abandonment. So a codependent person typically is an empath, because a codependent person, they can really feel what the other person is feeling, and they feel a lot of responsibility for how their partner or the other person they're in a relationship with is feeling. So they're oftentimes empaths. So they actually are very good and genuine people. It's just that they are focused on healing everyone outside instead of healing themselves. So they typically attract narcissists who are really other wounded empaths that took like a darker, more service to self way to heal their wounds, at least on a surface level. So a codependent person, someone who struggles with codependent tendencies, will lose themselves in another person just so they don't have to be alone. It doesn't even matter if that person is making them happy or not. They simply do not want to be alone because they feel unlovable inside ultimately. How can you become codependent? It usually happens with all major wounds in life, comes from childhood. Either a codependent person for whatever reason, they feel like they are unlovable and the way that they are is unacceptable, so they have to shove a part of themselves deep down and not love that part, and in turn creating this deep wound and need for validation and love because they are not giving it to themselves. That could happen from parenting not going too well, someone not getting enough attention as a child from their parents, enough love, or maybe a specific quality about that person was not deemed acceptable from the parent or the society or the peers, the family at whole. On some level, this person has been isolated and made to feel that they're not acceptable the way that they are. And a big part of our society is largely codependent. As females, as young people, we're taught to constantly look outside of ourselves for validation and for approval from teachers, parents, family, government, boyfriends, girlfriends. And I feel like a lot of us are codependent, even if on a subtle level. A lot of us look towards our family and our friends, our partners, even people on social media to make us feel like we are lovable and we are seen and we are important. But we should feel important just from being alive. I feel like kids have that sense of innate power, and a lot of adults lose that as they get older. So that definitely creates this major wound and hurt inner child that leads someone to make poor choices once they grow up. So, how did I become codependent? Exactly what I've told you. I grew up in a very isolated family, in a very lonely state, in a very depressed state. So I spent most of my life so sad and so hurt, lonely, and afraid that everyone would leave me and I was unlovable, that I really accepted love and validation from anyone, like people who I didn't even like ultimately. I remember just holding my tongue for friends just so they would accept me, even though I thought their behavior was not nice or something. I would not stand up for myself or other people because well, that's not true. I stood up for other people, but I would be very slow to stand up for myself because I just didn't have it in me to fight. I just wanted to be accepted and have an easy life. And that is a recipe to be taken advantage of for sure. So I definitely learned behaviors and how to read people quickly, especially being an empath. But even then, I still am learning and have a long way to go. So I quickly developed a codependent personality from childhood, and this turned into an eating disorder, self-harm. I just had to find a way to materialize my self-loathing and the sense of unlovingness that I had towards myself. So that happened through bulimia and having an eating disorder. And then from then on, I just found myself in a lot of toxic relationships to where I realized, oh, maybe I'm a part of it. Other people were doing so many bad things to me. Maybe I was attracting these people in my life, and what about me was attracting these people into my life? Well, I could easily say it was being codependent. It was not having my own identity, not having a strong sense of boundaries and a strong sense of self, because I was, a black sheep growing up for most of my life. So yes, that is how a person gets codependent. Gets codependent, and I have borderline personality disorder. So that, for me, everyone's different, and just because you have a disorder or a title doesn't mean you're anything like another person who has that same title. For me, BPD comes out in codependency more than anything. My fear of abandonment leads me to do things that I am not proud of and do not recommend or believe in. It's just the fear takes over your body, and it feels like another person taking over your body. And it's your ego, it's this defense mechanism you created from childhood, from the trauma that you endured. And yeah, I endured a lot of trauma. So these are some of the symptoms that I had in life slash have that may let you know that you are maybe codependent too. First of all, you lose yourself in another person's identity. That's the main symptom. So what that means is, as a kid, I would quickly, hold my tongue in hopes that someone would be my friend, or I would be in a situation that I was not happy in just to have someone around me or just to not be alone. That is the telltale sign of a codependent personality, is when you cannot be alone. And when you're alone, your mind goes into deep, dark spirals. So maybe you feel like you'll go to extreme lengths to keep someone from not leaving you. So you have a big fear of abandonment, and you go to extremes like self-harm, just self-destruction tendencies, just so you can numb the pain of feeling abandoned, or the fear of that, or so other people can be there for you and help you. So obviously that is pretty toxic. And another symptom is that you have difficulty making your own choices. You have difficulty distinguishing how you feel. You're just simply losing yourself completely. You're not in tune with your body, your emotions, and your reality. You are more so concerned about another person's reality and how you can make them happier instead of making yourself happy. That leads me to the next point. You have a very big you feel responsible for the way other people feel. And that's very common for empaths, to feel responsible for other people, for the ways other people feel, because we feel how they feel. And if they hurt. We don't want to hurt. We want to feel better. We think if we help them feel better, we'll feel better. but no, our job is only to help ourselves feel better, and we can only do what we can do. We can never live life for someone else. And why would we want to? Because they have their own consciousness and spirit for a reason, and we're in our body for a reason. So I've definitely felt responsible for other people's suffering and pain, and that's simply untrue and toxic to think. So that's definitely a big symptom of a codependent personality. Another one is that you will accept love from anyone. You'll accept validate as long as it's validation or love. You don't really have standards or your own, like, beliefs. And if you do, you'll quickly abandon those for the potential of someone being there for you and not leaving you. So if you have hobbies, if you have interests, you are going to not pay attention to those and sort of focus your attention solely on what the other person's doing in their life. And that is simply untrue and not correct. You can see if you're in a codependent relationship, if you're finding yourself constantly in these patterns of push and pull and run away, chase your partner or whoever your relationship is with. Because the narcissist or the enabler wants the codependent person or the empath to feel this way, so like they feel important and they feel validated, because similar to the codependent person, they were also hurt as a kid and they don't love themselves, so they have to have someone constantly showing them attention to feel worthy. These two people are way alike than you might think. They're very opposite in the way that they display it, but the core issues are still the same. And it's very troubling for a codependent person because they're constantly attracting the same type of person, because their energy is not aligned to themselves. So I feel like we're all psychic. Someone who is a narcissist or is looking for a codependent person so they can feel more validated can easily pinpoint someone who has low self-esteem and someone who is not making the highest choices for themselves, and they really capitalize on that opportunity whether if they know it or not. So if you can recognize this in someone in your life, then you can easily maybe admit to yourself, or maybe not so easily, but you can see how you have a codependent personality or tendencies. So we touched on and we dove into what a codependent person looks like, sounds like, acts like. So now, what have I been doing, and how can you help yourself from this tendency? Because we are codependent. It's not a deficit, it's actually a strength. I think that shows emotional intelligence and social awareness. So I think once we heal ourselves from that, we can actually be a great contribution to society. But till then, we'll never fully be our fully actualized self, because we're not loving ourselves, we're not being there for ourselves. So how can we love ourselves and be there for ourselves? Well, it's simple. It's what you might think. First, I would say look into therapy if you feel like, because oftentimes codependency, it's not necessarily a huge threat or a huge danger, but it's usually means that you have other mental ailments or disorders happening within you, other misalignments happening other parts of your life if you're codependent. So therapy could help you a lot, finding someone to talk to who's a professional, who will not leave you. You don't have to worry that they will abandon you. Their job is literally to help you. That would be great, instead of focusing people to help you that simply they're not equipped to, and it's not their job. So yes, therapy is one solution to healing yourself from codependency, finding a professional to work with. Another solution is finding couples therapy for you and whatever partner that you feel like you're in a codependent relationship with, because ultimately it does take two to tango. You might be codependent, but if you're codependent, then chances are you have an enabler in your life to feed that codependency within you, and chances are codependent in some ways as well on you. So you just want to clear up that murky mess of a relationship. No offense, I speak from personal experience, so couples therapy may help you. Another solution is just to accept yourself for who you are. This for me was a big part of healing myself from codependency, is accepting myself for my codependent nature, not feeling like it's a a deficit or something I should be ashamed of, something I should, push under the rug and be like, why is I'm still like this? I should be different by now. But just accepting myself for who I am and what is, and being real with what is now so that I can deal with what is now. If we're constantly in denial, we'll never be able to admit our problems, which is ultimately the first step in any addiction. And codependency is much like any addiction. You have to find yourself in that 12-step program of admittance and all the other steps of and to lead yourself all the way into acceptance so you can change your habit. Accepting your trauma is a big part of that. Figuring out what happened in your childhood to make you feel like you're unlovable, and reworking that belief system will be a big leap towards healing. Another step towards healing is doing stuff for you, finding your hobbies again, spending time alone every single day. I think that's very healthy for us to spend time alone. A lot of us are alone in quarantine, isolation these days anyway, but feeling like it's not our choice can make people feel like powerless, which makes them revert more into codependency maybe. So being independent and being on your own because it's your choice and because you enjoy your free time and your solo time, that is a big step towards reclaiming your identity. Doing things that make you happy, going on walks, exercise, cooking nice meals for yourself, listening to music, taking baths, doing a nice facial, go shopping for yourself, going into nature, going on a hike, playing with your cats. The list goes on and on. Making art, whatever you do for you that makes you feel calm and meditative, do that, and every day, and you will heal yourself. Another step is journaling, recognizing how you feel, who you are. And journaling can help us with that, because a lot of times we're all up in our head. We don't even realize how we feel until we get it down on paper. So journal every day, and I guarantee you'll be surprised with the amount of progress and your growth and the amount that you're able to learn about yourself just from writing just a few sentences every single day. And the next solution is to be clear on your boundaries, be strong about your boundaries, be clear, be firm. Maybe this includes making to-do lists every day of everything you want to accomplish, and not letting anyone in your life keep you from doing things that are for your highest good. And if these people don't want you to do something for your highest good, this is a way for you to tell that they are not for you, and they do not love you, they do not care about you, they're not supporting your higher self, your highest development. So cut those people out. Another thing I like to tell myself is that I am safe and I am protected right now. A lot of times anxiety and depression and just other mental illnesses or ego can create us to be in a situation that is not existent at this time. So we're literally in this parallel reality, feeling something that is not happening, but our body doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imaginary. What it knows is what it's feeling. So we can really get ourselves into this state that is unnecessarily happening. So, recognizing if you have problems, not saying make everything picture perfect and sugarcoat things. If you have problems, you can face them with reality, but also know that you're safe and you're protected and you're alive, which is the most important thing at the end of the day. Another method I like to do to make sure I'm present is just a body scan. Whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed, just taking a few deep breaths and just feeling my body. So going from my head all the way down to my toes, just checking in with every single body part, making sure that, it's alive and activated. So this will help you come back together in your body as one whole entity, because a lot of times empaths can feel dispersed and scattered, and like their energy is spread out so thin. So just reclaiming your energy for yourself. It's your right, it's your energy, you can take it back. A body scan will help you do that. And the next step is to be honest. Be honest with the people around you. When you feel like they're enabling you, tell them they're enabling you. Like any addict, you have to have people around you supporting you to grow and come out of your addiction of people pleasing, of your love addiction. So telling people what you need and being clear and concise with the way that you feel and communicating clearly will be a big step in allowing other people to support you well, and not giving in and not enabling you, because maybe they don't know that they're enabling you to be codependent on them. Reconnect with your loved ones. This is a big step, having your friends, your family, your solo time to connect with people that are specifically in your life, not in the person's life that you're codependent on. So having your special separate social group is a great way to boost your own identity and your self-esteem. I would recommend that you pay attention to what music you're listening to, what shows or movies you're watching, what podcasts you're listening to. Pay attention to what you're entertaining your mind with, because is it giving you good programming? Is it giving you faulty programming? Is it healthy for your mind to feel like you have to have friends around and social media around to validate you and make you feel like a Kardashian or beautiful? Or is it hurting your self-esteem and creating you to be more codependent and more unhealthy? So realizing all the external factors that you're allowing to go into your reality, and is it serving you? Is it for your highest good? The last solution that I have that have been helping me is just allowing myself to know that I'm important, I'm special. There's no one out there like you that can do what you're doing and help the world how you can. So don't be anyone else, be yourself. It's a waste of your life force, energy, and your body, and your consciousness, and yeah, your time, and you're here for a reason, your life for a reason. I love you, and a lot of people in your life love you, and they want you to be who you are and not allow someone else to take your light away, to take your life away. You're too important for that. You're too worthy. So having mantras to remind you and help you reweave your mind of what's important, how to protect your mind better from this matrix we're living in, will help you. So that's what a mantra is. It's to help us weave and protect our mind from the outside world. So you can, some mantras I like to say are, I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm protected. I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm protected. And just really feel that love and protection in your body. Say, I'm special, I'm here for a reason, and I'm not meant to suffer. Just tell yourself the truth, and you'll know the truth because it'll make your heart feel good and make you want to smile and have butterflies in your stomach. So yeah, that's my spiel, and that's the end of the video about codependency. I hope that you were able to learn something. It feels good for me to talk about my experience. I've definitely, from codependency, felt like rock bottom, but it's all worth it knowing that I can help somebody else that has felt the way I have felt. I love you so much. I thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. You got this. Bye.